Hey, how are you doing? This is a video that is just I'm gonna just give you a little touch in what it's gonna be about. It's gonna be about, the transition that God is making in my life right now. Um, it's awesome. It's unbelievable. So what I want to do, I'm dealing with so much stuff spiritually that I wanted to come to my YouTube channel and sort of like do a diary entry and just be honest. It's not pretty. It's not entertaining. It's just the love of Christ and Him changing my life and changing my surroundings and changing who I am. That's just what I want to talk about today. So I hope that you find this encouraging to you and what you're struggling with in your walk. Please share, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, whatever you do. But I was, I don't know where to start. This is my testimony. So I'm gonna just start like wherever it pours out at. That's what I'm gonna do. The other day, I was at a Bible study with a group of guys, and I made a commitment to walk us to give up something in my life. I made a commitment to walk away from something that I was holding dear to me, because they was reading the Bible. They was in, I don't even know where they was at, but it was a verse that Paul wrote when he was like, "Be anxious about nothing, but in all things, bring your anxiety to Christ and let Him heal it." In layman's terms. And I was like, man, every time I get anxious, I fire up. Every time I get anxious, I got a medical marijuana card. So how I was curing my anxiety and dealing with my anxiety was taking an edible, taking a tincture, or smoking. So the things that I should have been going to Christ for, I wasn't. I was going to drugs, to weed to cure my anxiety. And as he was talking, I was like, man, what if God could take this from me? What if He could take this cup and take this burden? Or what would it be like if I were to take my anxiety to Christ? So I had, just made a public statement at the Bible study that I was, wanted to try Christ and leave this weed alone. Like I said, it's not pretty, it's not fun. I had asked myself, was I using the weed to cure my anxiety, or was I using the weed to get high? Because if I was using it to get high, which I know I was, it was sort of like hindering or blocking my blessings. A brother had asked, it's so many stuff that added up. A brother asked me prior to that, do I pray in tongues, or have I been blessed with the Holy Spirit? And I told him, nah, and he shot me some verses and wanted that, but I already knew that I needed to clean up this THC out of my system before I get all that, because I knew where I was running to for my pain or for my stressful moments. I knew I wasn't running to the cross. I was running to the blunt. So that's what I worked on. That's where I went to deal with my issues. And, I gave it up. It's been a couple of days. It's been easy. I've been joyful. But that's not the whole point of the story. The point of the story is that God has just been putting people in my life and putting me places that's been unbelievable to me. Let me turn this hat around so y'all can see my face. It's cold outside. But He's been putting people in my life that's been unbelievable to me, man. I've been surrounded by a group of faithful believers that just love Christ. And it's so weird because I thought that I would be uncomfortable around these guys and just their family and kids. But I'm not uncomfortable at all. I actually feel accepted, man, for who I am. And even the unbelievers that I'm around, God has anointed me and blessed me, man, that I just fit in. And I'm saying weird, but I know it's not weird. I know it's God. The reason, the real gist of the video is I was asked to be like a part of a church. And I got scared. Somebody asked me to be a part of a church, and it scared me. I haven't been scared of much in my life. But to know that someone sees Christ in me, the hope of glory, and want me to, partner up with them and be part of their mission to spread the good news, it's scary to me. Now you're saying, why are you scared? Why are you afraid? You do all this tough stuff, been to prison, been in the streets, whoop-de-whoop. Man, because I know the person that I gotta be in Christ, or just the person that I need to be. And I still like to cuss sometimes. I was still smoking weed, which I gave up. But I love like gangster rap, gangster music, like real hardcore stuff. I love the bull crap. So when the guy came and asked me to be a part of the church, maybe I just feel unworthy. Maybe I feel like, based off of things I've done in my life and who I am and where I'm at right now, that it's not for me. But man, I want to be blessed so bad. I got some things on my prayer list that I want God to open up doors and bless me so bad. And I just been praying, supplication, talking to my wife, fasting, praying, serving Lord. And now He's asking me to be a part of this ministry. And me knowing I gotta go hard. I gotta go super hard for the Lord, because when I was on the devil's side, I was on the starting lineup. Like, put me in the game, coach. I was so eager and ambitious with the foolishness, but now that this opportunity has come for me to serve the Lord, I have to take that same eager ambition and just tenacity to Christ. And I was praying on it last night, and I was like, I don't really believe in signs. So I was like, God, give me a sign. If you want me to join this church and join this ministry, give me a sign, God. I was like, was a tree gonna fall in the middle of the road, or how do I know this sign? So literally, as I was sitting there praying and meditating on this choice and this decision about what to do, the same brother that asked me to help with the church called me. Get that way, B. Was that a sign? A bee flew by me on my left side. But the same brother that asked me to help him and join the mission, he called me and was like, hey man, I don't know what you're doing this week, but you mind washing my car? I'll pay you for it. And to y'all, that might not be a sign, but man, I've been dreaming of having a detailing business for about 3 years. I've been dreaming of having a mobile detailing business for 3 years. I don't even know if I told dude. I got to check with him and see. Because me, I'd be like, oh, he trying to trick me. He conning me. He using my heart to come after me. But I've been dreaming of a mobile detailing business. I got all the cleaning supplies. I got the pressure washers. I got everything, shop vac. And the guy calls and asks me to do something that I've been dreaming about. I just laid down and thought about it last night. Like, I asked for a sign. That ain't a real sign. I need another one. That ain't a real sign. He already knew I wanted to do that. But then, I like videos. I love just posting things and vlogging my life. And I was at a guy's house last night that has a whole studio that I met through just spreading the glory of God. I met through worshiping and witnessing and going to Bible study. He has a whole full-fledged studio. I was just blown away, like, God, even just to have his knowledge, or someone that could look at my video and say, hey, Thurston, do this, record it from this angle, or maybe you can, do this to make it look better. Oh man, come on, God. Yeah, I know in my previous videos I've been trying to get back into institutions, because that's a real passion of mine, is being in institutions, whether prisons, jails, detention centers. I met another guy through Christ, through the church, that goes to institutions, and he wants me to come out and share my testimony with the youth in the detention centers in Jacksonville. Come on, God. But I'm still asking for a sign. See, I do this video thing. I don't know what y'all do, but I do this video thing, man, to talk to myself and really have a conversation because sometimes I'm not good at talking at people. But when I place this camera in front of me that don't say nothing back, that's non-judgmental, and I can just pour it out, I'm able to really understand what's going on. And God's placed me in a place, man. He's changed my surroundings and put me in an environment where His blessings are surrounding me, His people is surrounding me. And man, this is awesome. It's like unbelievable. So much has changed. And I got the answer. I already know you. Before you join the mission or join the church, you gotta check their doctrine. You gotta see what they believe on, what they stand on, making sure it line up with the Bible, making sure the Bible is the final word, and all that stuff. But man, I think I just gave my answer. I found my answer talking just now. So, and even the pastor gonna help me, sober up. The pastor gonna, help me make sure I don't have that anxiety. The assistant pastor said if I get too aggressive or frustrated, we come over and wrestle. I'm like, Lord, y'all really serious about a brother not getting high? I think I found it. And some folks be like, oh, why are you sharing this? Everything ain't meant to share. Some things personal. I'm sharing this because I wanted to vlog my life and let my kids know that, if you were to look at my past and the memories that my sons have of coming to see me in prison, or when I was a fugitive, or when I was on the run, or memories my daughter have of me gone in the streets, in and out of jail, or memories my mother have of me, or my sister have of me, or my brothers have of me. Man, I just want to say that we can do all things through Christ. All things through Christ who strengthens me. I'm a new creation. I'm not that dude. And I just pray that God will bless me, bless my children, bless my wife, and continue to just work with me and let my testimony be a beacon of hope to others that's struggling, man, struggling with addiction, struggling with criminality, struggling with just not loving yourself, with health issues, medical issues, struggling financially. My biggest struggle is not selling dope. 43 years old. Been out the streets for a minute. This is 2023, but I've been out of prison since 2016, and I think about selling dope every day. Man, the preacher calling me now. That's crazy. Confirmation. Let me take this call. Peace. Hey, what's up, man?
What up, brother?
What's going on?
Nothing, man. I just called to check on you, man. Make sure you were doing well.
Man, I just was talking about you like 20 seconds ago.
Are you really?
Crying. I'm up here crying.
I must have this supernatural hearing or something. Because the other day, Jake was at the gym. I was like, dude, I was just talking about you 3 seconds ago, and I walked up.
Yeah, I was just talking about you crying on on my YouTube channel.
For real?
I'm sitting here at the outpost, man. I'm still recording the video. I'm at the outpost sitting here. I was making a video just trying to decide how God working in my life and whether He's opening doors and trying to see if these signs that I'm getting are really coming from God. And I was like, God, just give me a sign because I don't believe all the other signs. And literally,
Yeah.
I'm still recording. You go.
That's crazy, bro. Yeah, I'm on my way to work, man. I was just thinking and praying for you, and I was like, I'm going to give Thurston a call, make sure everything's good, make sure you're holding up still, so.
Man, I love you, man. Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
bro. I appreciate you, man. You're a good dude, man. Me and Jake, we were together last night. We were talking about you, man. So,
That's funny. Well, all this gonna be on YouTube right here. Your voice is.
Oh, dude, that's crazy. Yeah, bro, I saw the YouTube channel, bro. Like, that's legit. Like, I didn't know you made videos and, like, had all these subscribers and stuff. I'm like, yo, this man's fancy over here.
Yeah, I just be vlogging my life so people that's coming through this struggle can have an example, and then my kids can
And
see
I
it.
like it, too, because it was like, it's not just like, you know, like, for me, it wasn't just like, oh, there's biblical stuff on there, or, like, daily devotions, but, like, I saw a couple videos where it was like, how to avoid gangs in prison, and that kind of stuff. Like, to me, that stuff's so cool. Like, you know?
Yeah, that's what I
It's cool,
do.
bro. I'll let you get back to doing what you're doing. I'm just heading to work, man. So I was like, I'm going to give him a call and see how he's doing. So,
Well, I think it's over now. Everything's done. I think I gotta stop denying these signs that's coming my way.
oh, yeah. Dude, I want to sit down and talk about, like, signs and, like, confirmations and stuff like that one day. That's how we got here, because I was like, Lord, you're going to have to give me every sign possible. And, like, the most random things started taking place in my life. And, like, and when I would get a sign, I would be like, oh, God, that's not enough. I need another sign.
That's what I just said before you called me. I said the same thing on my. Yo, I'm gonna send you this video. I'm about to post it as soon as I get home.
Yeah, I mean, then the Lord dealt with me and really was like, you're acting like a Pharisee because you're scared to just be obedient. And I was like, oh, because the Pharisees kept wanting to see the signs of God, but didn't want to walk in the obedience of God. And we'll keep asking God for signs and confirmations because of, like, being scared or our doubt or God, are we acting in our own will and might right now? And, you know, we're always constantly, well, God, I need another sign. And God's just like, dude, I just gave you 7 signs. Like, how many more do you need? Like, I mean, I was at a point before we moved here to plant the church, because it was hard just leaving everything and leaving everything we knew. I literally told God, I said, if you're going to give me signs, then this is how it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, dude, the most random people. Like, I had 3 people that don't know each other call me and say the same exact wordage.
Mm-hmm.
And all 3 of them don't know each other. 3 different states where, like, the Lord told me to tell you radical obedience would bring an outrageous blessing.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, oh, gosh, okay. And so I hear you, Lord. And then boom, 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 boom. The Lord was just sending more confirmations, more signs, like the way our house sold and all kind of stuff. Like, and we were just like, okay, there's no denying this is what God's calling us to do.
Yeah, so last night I was sitting there, I was talking to Jake, and Jake was saying, you know.
To, like, signs and confirmation.
Yeah.
Because, like, there comes a point, like, where God gives signs, but then there comes a point where, like, are we disciples, or are we acting as Pharisees? Because God will give you a sign, and then you'll want another one, and then another one, and another one, and I've been there, and it's like, man, okay, God, now am I just being disobedient because I'm asking for something, I'm receiving, but yet I'm not obeying. And so it's like, man, and it's like God will just be like, boom, there it is. You're like, oh, yeah, that's it. I know now.
So, like, the weirdest thing though, JV, and I'll be thinking about it, like, even being heavily involved and connected with the church and involved in the mission, like, if I would be riding around listening to, like, gangster rap and Lil Baby or Project Pat, does that work? Because my wife was like, oh, Thurston, you got to change the music you listening to. You got to stop putting that evil stuff into your heart. And that was something I was even talking about on my channel. Like, yo, I can't listen to this rap I've been listening to forever that gives me these crazy thoughts. Like, I gotta cut this out.
And what's crazy is like, I always say this: what you put in is what you'll pour out.
Man, don't tell me that, man.
No matter how much, like, we love the Lord, no matter how much we long to see the Lord move, if we're putting in something that's not of God, then we're at some point going to pour out something that's not of God. And because I literally used to, like, I love music, but now, like, I can drive across the United States of America and never turn on a radio, just because, like, it's not hard for me to turn on in his music. I mean, if you think about the enemy was over music. Lucifer, Satan,
Was the
head
minister of
director
music.
music.
Yeah.
Like, and then he couldn't submit to the Father. He couldn't submit to the Lord. And so the Lord said, well, this isn't your kingdom, so I've got to get you out of here. And now, the two biggest things, in my opinion, I mean, we're men, but the two greatest things that have ever been created, one is from Satan, but it was created by God, is worship, because Satan has now turned worship and turned music into a lifeline for people to literally get into demonic activity, to get to a place where they're practicing evil. You know, I didn't know what it meant to drink lean until I was listening to what it meant to drink lean when I was a teenager. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I heard it through song, but then like God created sex, but here the enemy uses sex as a way for people to, in a sense, use it for their own good rather than how God's created it. The same way with worship. The enemy has used what God has created for people's own good rather than how God created it to be. And so, man, like, when you start to follow Jesus, like, and say, man, my life is completely changed, like, I'm going to be radical for him, man, it requires giving up so much. But in the giving, you're gaining so much. For, like, when Paul says, for me to die is gain, that's what Paul's talking about. Like, man, I'm dying to rap music, but I'm gaining more of Christ. Man, I'm dying to my anxiety and filling that void with marijuana, but I'm gaining Christ. Like, and that's how God works, and that's what Scripture's talking about when he says to die is gain. Like, we're dying to ourselves, the things that we want, to step into what God has for us. And man, me and Jake talk about it all the time, dude. Like, we think you're like the real deal, man. Like, we know where you've been. We know struggles. We know it, man. And we came here to reach people, man. We just want people to see the true, authentic love of Jesus, not the craziness of Jesus, not the weird of Jesus, but like, because Jesus isn't weird. And I'm like, we as Christians, we tend to make the building weird. We tend to make the gospel weird. And I'm like, Jesus isn't weird at all. Like, I believe Jesus would be just a homie that would sit down and have a conversation. And so, but man, we're here for you, man. If you need anything, you just let us know, man. I'll have to check this video out, though.
I'm locked all the way in, man. I was literally, when you check the video out and you see when you called, I was sitting here crying, talking about you. Like, literally.
That's wild.
Well, let me go. I got to go to work, man. I got to get some breakfast in me, man, in the next 20 minutes,
You're
man.
good, man. You're good, man. You have a good day, man. If you need anything, just hit me up.
All right. I got you, man. Please. Thank you.
All right,
All right. All
bro. We'll holler at you.
right. Well, man, I think that's it. I'm a part of the church. Hold on, let me put this chair back, y'all. Don't laugh at my recording setup. But I'm gonna make sure y'all can see me. I'll holler at y'all.